friends and fellow flute enthusiasts. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Jonny's Flute Reviews. I'm Jonny Lipford, and since 2002, I've dedicated myself to everything flute. I now teach, perform, and record full-time with the Native American flute. If you're interested in becoming a more emotive flute player, or you just love the sounds of the Native American flute, be sure to subscribe and click that little bell so you're notified every time a new video drops. I regularly post flute tips, flute tutorials, original songs, and even cover songs to showcase how versatile this instrument is. So let's dive into this flute. Alright, in this episode of Jonny's Flute Reviews, we're looking at a flute made by Brent Haynes of Woodsounds Flutes. Brent is located in Utah. He's been making flutes for 15 or 20 years or so, and he really loves making exotic wood flutes, and I'll tell you more about that a little bit later. But the one that I have today is one from his Sunrise collection. Now, the Sunrise are made from Osage orange. The body of them, and Osage orange is really a yellow, bright yellow wood. You can see here in the nest area where it's really yellow, but he stained it a little bit to give it some texture and variety in the wood. I like that because in the sunlight you really start to see some of those highs and lows and some of the contrast area. Highest contrast for me is right here behind the block. Where the nest area has been sanded down, some of that stain has been sanded back off and out of that area. And so it makes for a really unique part. So that way you get really high contrast with this block. So let's talk about this block for a second. I really like the block design, and here's why. It has height to it, but it doesn't have anything that would catch a flute bag as I transport it, putting it in and out of flute bags. It's this half circle here is just nice and contoured, doesn't get caught up on anything. Plus there's a little sunburst design that I really like. It really, it brings more to the character of the flute, the Sunrise collection. Over here to the mouthpiece, we have dark wood mouthpiece. It looks like this one's made from walnut, and in between the walnut mouthpiece and the body of the flute made from Osage orange is a box elder burl ring between the two. So therefore you get some nice contrast, and it looks really, really nice. It brings a nice design to the flute. I also like Brent's mouthpieces. They're not just tapered. They have a little bit of not only design element to them that's very beautiful, but the way that he tapers it down but keeps it kind of flattened and not tapered all the way. So it slants down like this, but on the sides it doesn't come to a point. It just kind of stays a little bit, gets a little narrow, but it results in something that's very, very comfortable for your lips and your mouth to come around. A very small opening for where you blow into, which I thought would be a concern. I thought it might prove to have more back pressure than it actually does, but it does not. And so I'm going to play this for you in just a second. But I do like this mouthpiece a lot. The flute isn't very heavy. It's got more weight than most. I contribute that to this block here is a little heavy, and then also this mouthpiece is solid, and so weight wise, it kind of tips a little bit for balance, but still it doesn't feel like it's a lot for me to handle or hold when I play. I don't feel like my hands are getting tired or my wrists are getting tired either. So let's get to the important thing. Let's talk about and listen to the voice of this flute. So I'm going to play in a dry environment for you. So overall, this flute, compared to many others in my collection, has a little bit more of a warm, breathy, woodsy sound, and sounds really well when you record with it and add a little bit of reverb. I can see why, there's many recording artists using these here. So a really nice voice. It is, again, distinct. And that's the beautiful thing about the Native American flute, is that it's not just one sound. We get all these different keys of flutes, but then where you hear the difference between the keys is just the manufacturing of the flutes, the voicing of the flutes. And so every flute maker is chasing a certain voice in their flutes. And I think Brent's landed somewhere really nice with his flutes. Brent is known for taking exotic woods and turning them into beautiful flutes. And so as you browse his website, woodsoundsflutes.com, you'll find a lot of elaborate flutes. Now, his flutes do start out at around $300 for more of his classic and cedar flutes, and they go on up, from there. But really, he loves doing the one-of-a-kind, and if you see his Flute of the Month, he usually does some really high-end exotic flute that he likes to feature each month. So I'm adding this flute to my collection back here. So I'd like if you stay tuned as we uncover more of these flutes from my collection. This is, again, a Woodsounds flute made by Brent Haynes. This is the Sunrise Collection, Osage Orange, mid F sharp minor, walnut accents. It's tuned to the key of F sharp minor, more of that mid-range flutes. So again, stay tuned as we unravel and uncover more flutes from my collection. Thanks so much.